So my presentation is a magic between wonder and philosophy in Islamic theology. Islam has many traditions of theology. Among its numerous currents, I will focus today on the Sunni tradition, that is the mainstream of dogmatic theology. And I will argue along this line. Section 1, Avicenna on wonders and the ordered universe, and Section 2, al-Taftāzānī and the adepts of astral magic, and Section 3, al-Taftāzānī on magic and evil spirits. And here I show some illustrations on spirits based on medieval manuscripts. And then, Section 4, I will sum up. God's omnipotence was the fundamental tenet of Islamic theology since its establishment in the 10th century. Muslim theologians accepted that God could even disturb the order of nature that He created if He wills. Otherwise, God would not be omnipotent in the real sense of the word. Thus, the extraordinary wonders in Arabic, deviating from the order of nature, played a crucial role in Islamic theology. Wonders were basically divided into two categories. One comprised miracles, in Arabic, mujizat, which occurred through the presence of prophets such as Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. For Muslim theologians, all miracles were produced by God to prove that His messengers were prophets. Miracles were therefore closely tied to prophethood. What about the second category, which had nothing to do with prophethood? It was defined as magic or sorcery, in Arabic, sihr. Muslim theologians of the time were very interested in distinguishing the former from the latter, that is, the prophetic miracles from magic or sorcery. The philosophy of Avicenna marked a watershed for this issue. He rationalized magic and miracles, likening the former to the latter. For Avicenna, all wonders, whether miracles or magic, merely appeared to be extraordinary, but conform to the order of nature in reality. Avicenna's thesis was unacceptable to Muslim theologians, who saw it as contradictory to God's omnipotence. Among these theologians, Saʿd al-Taftāzānī is especially worth studying. He was one of the most prominent defenders of Islamic theology in the post-classical period. Most notably, he promoted his own position on God and wonders against Avicenna's view by appropriating some magical theories. In what follows, I will first outline Avicenna's argument, and then that of al-Taftāzānī. Section 1, Avicenna on wonders in the ordered universe. Avicenna discussed wonders in his last work, Pointers and Reminders. For him, all wonders are natural phenomena that physically arise from the human soul. But this does not apply to every human being. Rather, it is only true for those who have a special psychic power. He argues, I quote, "The soul may possess this power to cause wonders in accordance with the body's original temperament. However, the soul gains this power not only through the temperament pertaining to itself, but also through an acquisition of knowledge by philosophy. In the latter case, the soul becomes almost immaterial thanks to its intense brightness." End quote. Avicenna sees that the power in question is physically conditioned. According to him, special people possess special bodies, which provide their soul with the power to work wonders. Avicenna also invokes another factor, will, in Arabic irada, for the same theme in the metaphysics of his philosophical Summa, the Book of Cure. There, he argues that the will arises from the temporary conditions of heaven and earth. For him, the will to perform a wonder crystallizes in the wonder worker's mind as a knot between celestial and terrestrial influences. Avicenna's rationalistic account of wonders is firmly based on his cosmology. Avicenna establishes his cosmology following the late antique Greek tradition, which shares the belief in the cosmic order maintained by higher immaterial principles. According to him, these principles are the celestial intellects setting each heavenly body into motion, and together constitute the basis for wonder working. Thus, there are as many intellects as movements occurring in the heavenly realm, although their exact number cannot be determined. Avicenna estimates to be around 60. So, section 2, al-Taftāzānī and the depths of astral magic. Now let us turn to al-Taftāzānī's arguments. 2 points must be remembered here. First, early Muslim theologians held that God could disturb the order of nature by creating extraordinary wonders. Second, by contrast, Avicenna conceived the wonders to be integral part of nature. For Avicenna, wonders were nothing extraordinary. In his theological Summa, commentary on the aims of theology, al-Taftāzānī champions the classical view of God in Islamic theology by criticizing Avicenna's conception of wonders. He does this by attacking the cosmology, which forms the basis of Avicenna's whole argument. According to al-Taftāzānī, Avicenna was unable to define the exact number of higher principles, despite his belief in the cosmic order. Al-Taftāzānī insists that there is no perfect order from the beginning in the celestial realm or its terrestrial counterpart. Rather, everything in heaven and earth is merely moving according to God's will at any moment. Thus, al-Taftāzānī denies Avicenna's cosmic order so as to secure the extraordinary character of wonders. Most interestingly, al-Taftāzānī calls upon astral magic and its peculiar cosmology at a crucial moment in his argument. First, he defines astral magic in Arabic-Islamic as operations to fuse celestial and terrestrial powers, that is, the powers of the 7 planets and those of the human soul. Second, he refers to the cosmology of the adepts of astral magic in Arabic as Arabic-Islamic. According to him, they believe that the world was permeated with innumerable spirits in Arabic arwah. Al-Taftāzānī appropriates their teaching by reproducing it as follows, I quote, "The adepts of astral magic state that every celestial sphere possesses one spirit which governs that sphere, and from which ramify many spirits. For example, God's throne, that is the outermost sphere, also has a spirit. Furthermore, they affirm the existence of a spirit at each degree of the heavens. The effect from a certain spirit manifests at the degree at which that spirit is deployed. Similarly, each day, each moment, all the year, a spirit exists in every sea, every mountain, every desert, every building, every plant, every animal, and so forth. End quote. For those astral magi, the outermost sphere is God's throne and holds the highest spirit. From this supreme spirit emanate innumerable lower spirits, which ensoul everything in heaven and earth. Thus, there are as many spirits as beings in the celestial and terrestrial realms. Although al-Taftāzānī does not explicitly mention it, the consequence is evident. That is, God governs the world through the intermediary of these spirits. Yet another problem must be considered here. Sacred literature, such as Quran and Hadith, mention magic or sorcery as an evil spell, which was also cast upon the Prophet Muhammad. Therefore, al-Taftāzānī has to justify his reference to astral magic in his theology. Curiously, he undertakes this task by associating magic with daimonis and devils. So, section 3, al-Taftāzānī of magic and evil spirits. According to al-Taftāzānī, the adepts of astral magic classify spirits into angels, jinn, that is, the Islamic version of daimonis, and devils. Angels are higher, and ensoul the heavenly bodies. Jinn and devils are lower, and ensoul the terrestrial beings. They are all accountable to God, but vary in intentions. Angels are always good. Jinn are either good or evil. And devils can only be evil. For more general information, let us take a look at some concrete representations based on medieval manuscripts. So let us start with the angels. This is Jibril, that is Gabriel. He's the angel who brought the revelation to the Prophet Muhammad. And next we look at the jinn. The most important names of them are often related to the 7 days of the week. Each of these archdemons is considered the king of many jinn tribes. Their powers are invoked in conjuration in Arabic-Islamic, which is jinn magic. For example, this is Shamhurish. He rules over Thursday. Finally, we look at the devils. This is their head, called Iblis. Unlike the angels, he defies God's command and refuses to kneel before Adam. Following this threefold division of spirits, al-Taftāzānī classifies wonders. His goal is to determine the moral characters of different wonders. He writes, I quote, "Angels mostly aid human beings and let them carry out the tasks that the latter cannot perform by themselves. Overwhelming enemies, flying in the air, walking on the water, and so forth. They protect human beings, especially those condemned, from many disasters. Jinn and devils are mixed among human beings and aid them to perform sorcery, astral magic, techniques of applying nature, in Arabic miranjat, and the like." End quote. Note that the techniques of applying nature mean operations to prepare magical concoctions with natural ingredients. More importantly, according to al-Taftāzānī, the agents of miracles are the angels, which are always good. Therefore, miracles are good. By contrast, the agents of magic are jinn or devils. Since jinn can be good or evil, while devils are only evil, magic seems to be rather evil than good. But there are also good jinn. This leaves open the possibility of good magic. So, is astral magic a good practice? Regrettably, al-Taftāzānī does not provide a straightforward answer. Perhaps he is worried about negative reactions from his contemporary theologians. He only hints at this point, discussing sorcery and the evil eye in relation to God's will. He argues, I quote, "Sorcery occasionally disobeys God's will by resistance and takes pains to perform a similar affair. The practitioners of sorcery can be sentenced to viciousness and qualified by filth, be it in the material or spiritual level, and by disgrace, be it in this world or in the hereafter. The same applies to the evil eye," end quote. Because sorcery and the evil eye cause damages to human beings, al-Taftāzānī defines them as a violation of God's will. But no other divisions of magic are mentioned in this context. Indeed, he does not argue that sorcery and the evil eye are caused by evil spirits, that is, by evil jinn or devils. Likewise, he does not explicitly mention that the other harmless types of magic are produced by good spirits, that is, good jinn. Al-Taftāzānī's words are so unclear. Why? Most probably, he avoids qualifying any type of magic as a good practice. Given the highly negative image of magic in Islamic theology, he is at best able to imply that astral magic belongs to the category of non-evil magic. So, let's sum up. We have quickly examined the perception of wonders in Islamic theology. For Muslim theologians, extraordinary phenomena were nothing but the proof of God's omnipotence. Avicenna challenged this view by rationalizing wonders. Al-Taftāzānī, in his turn, countered Avicenna by calling upon the discussions of astral magi. Avicenna held that the entire world enjoyed a perfect order, maintained by a limited number of higher principles, identified as celestial intellects. By contrast, according to al-Taftāzānī, the astral magi explained that the world was permeated with innumerable spirits, and that God governed the world through the intermediary of these spirits, as it will at any moment. However, al-Taftāzānī did not articulate this last point in his own words. That was probably because magic in general was considered evil in Quran and Hadith. He coped with this dilemma by explicitly labeling sorcery and the evil eye as the evil divisions of magic, including astral magic, were not evil. The question as to whether al-Taftāzānī successfully justified his debt to astral magic with his argument is of secondary importance. What matters the most is that he invoked the teachings of astral magi despite dogmatic difficulties in his defense of God's omnipotence. This ambivalent attitude towards magic must be considered according to its historical and intellectual context. The 14th century Islamic heartlands saw a blooming of various occult sciences and arts, such as magic, astrology, and mystical numerology. All these brought new dimensions to the veneration of saints, metaphysics of Sufism, and the political applications of imperial courts. Accordingly, Muslim theologians of the time had to take a stand on this issue by crafting a new system. Al-Taftāzānī theology was one of the most pioneering attempts to reconcile Islamic theology and those esoteric currents.
Thank you very much, Yuki. Let's have a time for discussion and question. Do you have any question for Yuki about the Taftāzānī? Ladies first. Thank you very much. Please.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
You mentioned the devil Iblis and how he defied God and refused to kneel to Adam. Does this mean that he would be the Islamic equivalent of the Judeo-Christian Lucifer? And was he an attribution of Jewish theology, or was it vice versa?
First, I must confess, I don't really know about Jewish theology or the relationship between Islam and Judaism. But this is a good point. What I simplified was Iblis was a former angel. He was a fallen angel. Earlier, he was an angel, one of the angels, but he defied God's command to kneel before Adam, and he refused that. So, because of this deed, he, is fallen. Yes. So maybe it's like Lucifer in Judaism. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. It's okay. And a chance, please.
Yes, well, that's your talk very nicely followed that of Leander, and there were so many cross-references, as it were. And I must say that Taftāzānī describes astral magic very well. He knows exactly what it involves, as will become clear with the title, I think. But can I just confirm, he was talking about talisman, astral magic as talisman, did you say, as talismans? So talismans, as it were, incorporated or brought within themselves the whole of astral magic. And the second question is, when you refer to spirit, is that ruh or ruhaniya? Well, it's throughout.
Spirits.
There are many spirits in the whole universe.
Arwah, ruh,
It's
arwah.
ruh, arwah. Yeah.
Okay. Then I already answered your second question, right?
Yes.
Okay. The first question is very much complicated, I must confess. Fakhruddin Ar-Razi, the very much influential and important Muslim theologian who Lagana has just also examined, he was also mystic, and he reinterpreted for the formal theory of astral magic. For him, for Ar-Razi, the human soul is like a talisman. So he was talking about the self-talismanization of the human soul. Actually, Taftāzānī was very much influenced by Fakhruddin Ar-Razi. He largely referenced a work of Fakhruddin Ar-Razi, but Taftāzānī somehow restructured Razi's argument textually. And that was probably because Taftāzānī wanted to somehow avoid to be how can I explain this? For him, the argument of Ar-Razi was probably too much astral magic, and he was rather orthodox mainstream guy compared to Fakhruddin. So he certainly referenced largely Fakhruddin's argument, but he hide its intention to refer to astrology. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So it's time to go to the next step. Thank you very much, Yuki.